Anything Cricket, Let's Talk is brought to you by Rascals Barbados and Omega Pest Control Limited. Welcome to Anything Cricket, Let's Talk. We're broadcasting from the studios of the Caribbean Media Corporation, Bridgetown, Barbados. As we delve into the various issues under discussion, we invite you to make your comments and ask any questions. We also invite you to follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, we'll get right into it when we come back on Anything Cricket, Let's Talk. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Grinder Highway. Call 538-9990. Welcome back. I've been joined by Wayne Holder and Ayana Holder. So the Holders are in charge. Wish I could say the same thing for the West Indies women in the recently concluded series against the Aussies. Ayana, a very painful whitewash. But what is of greater importance is the fact that there's more cricket to come, including the World Cup early in the new year, and not a whole lot of time for solutions to be found.
Yes, the Australian series pretty much concluded to form with the Australians winning all of the matches, all 6 matches they played across the one-day and T20 formats. And with the World Cup coming up in February, March of 2020, some concerns will be raised in the West Indies camp because although we were missing a lot of our frontline players, we still haven't seen the strong replacements. And I think that, I remember I heard Stefani mentioned structure and applauded the Australian women because of their structure. And one of the things that I don't think, I guess we as journalists may be at fault too, we don't pay enough attention to the women's game and the development, because West Indies men's cricket is always the talk of the town. The women are just in the backseat. However, they have a series coming up scheduled for November against India, and I hope that the Deandras and the Hayley Matthews, Shakira Selman would be available to be back out on the field so that we can start planning for the tournament coming up, and it is just around the corner.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. The women's game doesn't get the same attention, one could almost argue, from any quarter. Even when they were winning, it was always, they're always second best to the men, so to speak, even although the men were losing. So you made a point, and hopefully that is not stretched into the preparation of the team and those responsible for the team win.
Well, as you said, we would hope so, but the women's game definitely lacks that foundation, as is not played as widespread throughout the region, within the various islands, as we would have for the men. I guess it is a matter of history. Women's cricket, for my knowledge, has always been fairly strong in Trinidad and Tobago, and to a lesser extent Jamaica, and maybe one or two of the Windward Islands. But outside of that, we are now really beginning to try to export the game to women in the wider region. And I think that may be one of the reasons why the game suffers for attention. But obviously now with Cricket West Indies really having full responsibility for the development of women's cricket and of the women's teams in the various competitions around the world, it is imperative though that Cricket West Indies in particular plays its part and pays that much more attention and put that much more emphasis on the women's game. I am very aware that, and I think most cricket fans are, that women's cricket is really spreading worldwide and spreading quickly. It is really burgeoning on the international stage. And although West Indies over the last decade or so have done fairly well, what I'm saying is that we could very well be in danger of falling behind if we don't get our act together.
We've probably already fallen behind the teams that have been around, but I think your concern, I don't know if it extends to falling behind the emerging teams as well.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, let's look at teams like India and South Africa. These were teams that 6 years ago, the West Indies were dominating. These teams have made significant advances over the last half a decade or so. India now paying lots of attention to their women's game, and they are probably the fastest improving side.
Probably got the resources too to do it.
Well, of course, we know of it. Well, we all know of India. But the fact of the matter is that they always had the resources.
They just didn't have the interest, maybe.
Right, that's exactly the point that I'm making. They have now seen.
So you're suggesting then that maybe the West Indies have neither the interest or the resources?
I'm saying that we need to wake up. You know, it is more like a wake-up call. It is more of a wake-up call that we need to do more.
Is there enough time to set that alarm clock for that wake-up call in time for the World Cup again?
I am not too sure that there's enough time because we're in September and February is what? 5 months away. Forgive me if I don't get it right. But one of the things that I realize we do in the West Indies is that when something is working, we just leave it. We don't try to improve. And the other people who we are defeating perhaps, they look at themselves and tell themselves, okay, we need to do this, to do that, and continue. We just, like, we won the 2016 World Cup, and really and truly, you haven't seen any improvement in the women's game. So I think that, yes.
But you know you could have stopped without adding on the women's game. You could have simply said they haven't seen any improvement. Because we won 3 World Cups in that year. And since then, at every level, we have not produced.
Mind you, West Indies women have, and will do relatively well in the T20 format. I expect still. West Indies will still rank among the top 8 teams in the world, let's say. Even at this point in time, especially if we had our full unit, our strongest team available now and out on the park. But as the point has been continuously made here this evening, I think that we need to see that it just can't be made business as usual. We've got to really get up and get, you know, as you said, put some resources, whether it be financial and all the other efforts.
We kind of a self-destruct mode that existed after that 2016 experience, certainly in terms of the men's team, where coaches were changed, players fired and banned, and bad relationships, and it all went downhill very, very quickly. Can we attribute the decline in the women's game to a similar thing? You know, changes in coaching staff and maybe low morale? Explain, guys. It
just seems to be the trend in West Indies cricket. Men, women, youth, it really doesn't matter. A surprise for me was Anisa Mohammed. She was in the World Cup team for the last T20 World Cup. and she didn't play as many matches as I thought that she would. And for a bowler with the experience and the success that she has had, it was pretty disappointing. I was also surprised at Marissa Aguilera's retirement, and I didn't like the timing of it, because I thought that sometimes you need to use players to groom others and make a smooth transition rather than just jumping off a road and starting on a new one. And I think that that experience was very much lacking in the West Indies women's team.
The way you're shaping the right on the ball here?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, but that opens another can of worms that can relate to other issues that we'll be discussing on the show and also at other times. But it's time for a break. So we're going to have a break, and then we'll be back on Anything Cricket. Let's talk. Don't let annoying pests bug you. Lick them for 6. Omega Pest Control is the perfect solution. We are experts in termite and pest eradication, specialized mosquito treatments, foundation, residential, commercial, and industrial treatments. Call us day or night, or visit us at our office located at Fieldside Drive, Long Gap, St. Michael. Omega Pest Control. Call 425-5954, 231-6526, or email us at opcl@caribsurf.com. Okay, good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
You have been enjoying the CPL exchanges?
Yeah, well, you know, we from the Caribbean, and this is our way of showing our talent to the world. It's always entertaining. Some games are nail-biting.
Well, we wouldn't call the clash between the Trinbago Knight Riders and the Tridents nail-biting. But for my part, it was certainly exciting. And I wonder how you dealt with it, because you claimed that you were a Tridents fan, you're Trinidadian. So how did you, tell me about it.
Well, you know, this is franchise cricket. You no longer support countries and stuff, boy. But it was Tridents finally got some revenge on Trinidad. I think they were winless at the Kensington Oval for 8 consecutive matches. So it was good for coming up against Knight Riders. You know, they'll always be pumped for that game ever since the first match at that grounds. There's always a pump encounter between the two teams. And this occasion, Barbados Tridents were miles ahead. It was a comprehensive victory. I saw that they made some changes to the team. Jonathan Carter opened with Johnson Charles. I always said that
worked well.
Yeah, well, I always said that he should be before Dominique, Jason Holder and Jonathan Carter should always be part up when the opening batsmen go out.
In fact, I think when we last chatted about the CPL, you did mention Jonathan Carter as one of those players you felt was being wasted down the earth.
Yeah, of course, because he takes a little time to get going, and when he gets going, he can hit the ball over mid wicket. He's pretty handy, and even though his innings were were quite slow in terms of T20 standards, it's almost at a runner ball.
Yeah, 51 off, I think 46, but it gave them the sort of start that enabled Dumini to come in and be spectacular. I can be very honest with you. When Dumini came in at number 3, I was a bit surprised, thinking that maybe Hales or even Jason Holder might have been a better option, but he certainly proved me wrong in spectacular fashion.
No, well, JP Dumini has been in some serious form last year or so. In the Global T20 in Canada just concluded. He ended with the MVP and most runs.
And you did mention that during our last chat.
Yeah. So
you seem to have an inside track here.
No, but I did say that he no offense to Boucher also. Boucher had some very good innings as well. But you at this level, at this stage, when you give your best batsman the most balls, and I think JP Dumini should bat number 3, and Jason Holder should bat 4. I'll keep saying he should bat at number 4. he can play the long innings. He can hit over the top. He can rotate the strike, and his form has been deplorable this season. Yeah, because he comes in when there's less than 10 balls to go, and he has a few ducks well or a few low scores in the CPL, which is quite disappointing for someone of his skill level.
If I said to you that Jason Holder probably does not fully recognize and appreciate his own ability, does that statement have any value for you?
Yes, for sure. I honestly think he's a batting all-rounder. Because I've never seen someone so tall look so elegant in his stroke play. And he's really a joy to watch, especially live. So I'll always bat for him to come higher up the order. Yeah.
What about the leg spinner?
Hayden Walsh?
Hayden Walsh, he was amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, taking 5 wickets, 5-wicket haul in T20 is always good. He went University of Trinidad and Tobago with us for a short while. He was on scholarship for cricket, so there's quite some talent there too. Shamar Brooks was there. There were some other cricketers from the islands, and it was a very good initiative. Hayden Walsh. I think the Pollard catch normally I thought it was 6 because Pollard just lofts into most of these and hit them into stands. So when I saw he was caught on the boundary, well, to clear Jason Holder, who is 6'7", takes a lot of doing as well. The other wicket was a good catch too by Alex Hales. He finally came into the action in CPL.
Hopefully that will maybe give him some confidence to get him on the road as well.
He has been, in some poor form thus far in CPL. Maybe that will boost his motivation.
So tell me something though. If I were to say to you that some of the cricketers, whether they be from the region or out of the region, the international players, probably emphasize or have a greater focus on the party side of the CPL rather than the actual performance side. Do you think that's a fair comment? And to what extent do you think it affects performance?
Could you repeat that again, please?
If I were to say to you that some players, both the regional players and the international players, focus more on the party element than the performance element, how would you respond to that?
Well, we from the Caribbean, there's always a festive atmosphere, and
yeah, but you see, when you have players like Hales and many of the international players, many of them don't already perform to the expected standard.
Yeah, some may say it's not to say Alex Hales also, but some overseas players who may be coming closer to the end of their careers.
I think Alex Hales was selected for the recent World Cup. He is far from the end of his career in terms of his ability. And it's not only about Hales. This is not the first time.
About Alex Hales at all, but you see most of the overseas players when rather the top pick, the low pick, middle pick, or whatever the case is, most of them bring their families, their kids, wives, even their grandparents to the Caribbean, because the Caribbean known for the beaches, for the limes, for the festivities, for the food. So I don't know if it's such a more of a relaxed atmosphere compared to other leagues.
And the regional players, you see them with the fancy hairstyles and so on that you don't normally see them with in Test cricket. So I'm just wondering if the whole mentality that is connected to the party atmosphere has adversely affected some players. That's all I'm wondering.
Yeah, well, it could have the positive and the negative, because it could bring that sort of energy towards the game. It could bring that positivity. It could bring that high energy into the matches, which could probably lead on to the energy into hitting sixes or getting wickets.
So you see that in a sense that it could be a positive thing too.
It could be a positive thing as well, but for instance, the Caribbean cricketers will probably have a better understanding of how to go about the CPL. This is Alex Hales' first CPL. I'm not saying that he's enjoying more off the field and on the field, but certainly because of his form. But I'm not saying he's a overseas player that focuses more on the entertainment aspect of it.
So just one final thing before I let you go. What does this do, this win by the Trident over the Night Reddies? How does this set up the rest of the tournament as far as you're concerned?
Well, basically, it's wide open now. Trident Trident have 3 more matches to go, and if they get for instance, they get 3 positive points, 3 positive results, so they will leave them more on 12 points, which will have they will have a claim in the top 2 position. Everyone is vying for the top 2 position. Well, Guyana is already there. They are meeting on 7 games, 14 points. They look almost perfect in their 7 matches. No real spot of bother. So it's really difficult to catch them. Knight Riders on 9 points, and they have 3 more games left. They have to replay Barbados Tridents on the 2nd of October, which will be a really important clash as well, because Barbados Tridents will be playing St. Kitts and Nevis over the weekend, and that will be a very important clash as well, because that will determine if St. Kitts can reach in the top 2, or Barbados Tridents can keep their hope alive, because if they lose to St. Kitts and Nevis and lose to Trinidad, it'll be very difficult for them to reach the top 2.
So all sorts of possibilities then.
Yeah, within the next few days, it'll be down to a numbers game.
Okay, so you keep your eye on it, and we're going to touch base with you again soon. So thanks a lot, Sherdon, for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi, or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Griner Highway. Call 538-9990. Welcome back. The BCA's elite division, and in fact the domestic competition, has been continuing, and at the elite level we've got Wildy and ICBL Empire battling for the championship. In fact, the Empire side started this 5th series 2 points ahead of Wildy, but it was really Wildy that seemed to have drawn first blood on the opening day win.
Well, lots of attention on this top of the table clash. That would have been the main interest in this round, this series of matches in the competition. And it was quite intriguing first day, one would have to say, with Wildy, the game being played at Wildy, the home team, winning the toss and inviting the Empire team to bat first, and really taking pole position quite early. The Wildy team having Empire at 1 point flat on their back at 80 something for 8.
And you understand, one of my favorite players did something about it.
But no, I was going to say the difference between a full capitulation by the Empire batting and what eventually turned out to be something of a fight back. It's still rather modest total of 160 odd, but something of a fight back when you think about 82 for 8. Cheyenne Brathwaite, the opening batsman, throughout all the tumbling, the top playing of wickets, he remained steady. Brought a new and brought out a new aspect to his game.
He opened the bat.
He opened the bat and faced the very first ball, and he carried his bat for 46. Not out. 46 may sound insignificant, but in the context of the innings and the fact that he was able to hold that innings together, and then eventually he found some stability. He found some strong allies at the very bottom of the innings. Numbers 10 and 11 actually produced about 2 of the
veteran Tennyson Roach.
The better partnerships of the innings. Tennyson Roach, a tenacious Roach, one would have to call him, quite a tenacious personality. And he came to the wicket and he got stuck in with Brathwaite, and they were able to mount a bit of a revival, and then it was completed by young Kamari boys coming at number 11 again, showing some fight, and all the while being led and guided by young Cheyenne Brathwaite, still a very young man, known for being very pugnacious.
But coming off some low scores.
And he's also been having, well, especially in the red ball version, a bit of a low so far, but showing, like I said, a different side to his game, and showing that stickability, sticking at the wicket, reining in his normal aggressive instincts, all for the cause of the team. And I was impressed with what he showed on Saturday. Empire, again, moving off that momentum of those two, the partnerships for the last 2 wickets, then rebounded by picking up some key wickets in the Wildy first innings.
So we should have a pretty close battle then.
Well,
Pretty
at
good
the
battle.
moment, it was a very evenly matched first day, let's put it that way.
Okay.
So the game really has not yet evolved or opened up. It's been very tight, very close at the end of the first day.
Okay, well, the game that I watched, the Sagicor UWA versus the Barbados Defence Force Sports program, it caused me to reflect on something you said during a recent program when you talked about the strength of the, or lack of strength of the UWA side, and they were certainly put under some pressure on Saturday. Also gave me the opportunity to chat with Nicholas Kirton, who plays for UWA, because even although his team isn't doing that well, he has been having a very good season, and I had a chat with him after the opening day.
Nicholas, you have been having a pretty good season. Congratulations on your century in the last series. But it's not just the century that you have scored. You've been in excellent form this season.
Yeah, I think that I've been putting in work obviously early in the season, and I guess it's just coming together now.
You've actually played 3 full matches because obviously your first game didn't come to a conclusion, and this particular match is far from over. And you've got 2 half centuries and a century.
Yeah, I think that I'm just trying to be consistent, especially in the first innings. I think first inning runs are important, so it's just a matter of putting on my hand and back, because I find obviously playing rush shots, especially when you have the whole day to bat, that's what I was doing before, and obviously I'm not scoring 30s and 40s, so I just think that I'm trying to be a little bit more compact, especially early in my innings, and obviously you can see the results coming through.
You know, they say that most of successes in cricket is due to what happens upstairs. It's a mind game. And when you were selected for the Barbados team last year, you've never scored a century in the league competition or the first division competition. Since then, you've got 2.
Yeah, I think it just, as you say, is a confidence thing. So just the fact that the selectors could see that I had that in me, then obviously coming back down after I didn't play the game that I got selected for, it was just like in me to say, all right, I need to step up and show what I can actually do and show why the selectors pick me.
You also do a bit of off-spin bowling. How serious do you take that?
Well, I kind of more concentrate on my limited overs bowling, but we had a couple of absences, obviously, like Kevin Hodge leaving the program and Larry Edward both of them gone on to play for Wingers. So the last couple of games I had to do a lot more bowling. So I put a bit of work in it during the week, but obviously as I see the results last game getting 5, I'll obviously try to put more work into it, especially in the right ball format.
So that was really a bumper game for you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I guess everything just came together that last game. Not often to score 105, but I'm thankful, and obviously that performance in the past, that's history, and I try to keep moving forward.
I've seen you lead this side before, the UWA side, captain the side. You're not leading the side now. What difference does it make to you in terms of your approach to the game, whether you're captain or you're not captain?
It's not a big difference, because I find, as you said, I'm not really that much of a bowler, so most of the captain is when you're feeling. So in terms of my batting, which is the main aspect of my game, it doesn't really make a big difference. But I don't normally captain the 3-day, like only captain the 3-day if John Carter or Kyle Carter absent. But the only form I actually captain is T20, because we have 3 different captains. So I captain the T20, Jonathan captains the 50 over, and Kyle Carter captains the 3-day.
You see yourself as a natural leader? Is it something you look forward to doing?
Yes, in a sense, because I like even when I'm on the field, like I still always like to give suggestions to the captain when I'm not, because I just like to see things done the right way. Like I like to see cricket played the right way, so if something is not up to scratch, like I find myself obviously pulling at the other guys and stuff. So yeah, I think leading is something that comes natural to me.
There's also another form of leading, and that is in terms of your performance or in terms of seniority. You would have had a chance to play with a number of iconic players, if you will, at this level, Jonathan Carter and players of that nature. Now you're virtually one of the senior players in this side. How do you adapt to that?
I think it's just a matter of more off the field, because I find like even when I first came, I feel like I carry myself the same way on the field right through. I think it's just a matter of being more senior off the field. Obviously the guys that just came into the program now look up to me, although I'm still a youngster. Is more a matter of off the field in terms of seniority, because for me I try to keep it consistent on the field right through.
Okay, so could you share with us your specific objectives for this season and even beyond that?
It's kind of tough to say specific objectives. I just try to take it one game at a time, because like with breaks and stuff, and then like for example Super 50 coming up, I'm hopefully looking to be selected for that. I can't guarantee how much games I'm going to play or how much innings I would get, because often we bat once, well, used to. So I can't guarantee how much innings I would normally get, but for me, I just try to average over 50 in the 50 over format and the 3-day format. And then for T20 is more of just enjoying myself in that format.
Yeah, well, you said that you used to bat once. Additional pressure, really playing in a side that is not really as strong when some of the key players are missing?
Yeah, it is additional pressure, but to me, it's a chance for me to step up, obviously, as you said before, being one of the senior guys. So it's just a matter of showing them that it's not as difficult as they think, and it's, as you said before, a mental thing. Obviously, when I first came in, I was in their position. I wasn't really getting the scores I wanted. So it's just a matter of showing them that it's not as hard as it is, and once you put in the work, that the results will come. So for right now, it's just a matter of me standing up and bat, especially if the team isn't doing well. Like, I feel like I should take it upon myself as a senior man and the other senior guys around me, that we should pull along the youngsters, because that's what they did for me when they first came in.
You know, you're in a very unfamiliar position in the middle of the table. Do you still believe that UWA can get up to win this tournament, and is it even a realistic objective that you are looking at?
Anything is possible, to be honest, but right now what UWA strives to do is win but also develop players. So if it isn't possible to win this season, obviously, as you said, with a new team, there's nothing wrong with the team coming and develop. Obviously, you could use these rest of games since we're in the middle of the table to let the fellas get a taste and always come back stronger next season. But on the other hand, if we come and get a couple of results on the bounce, you never know what can happen. If teams drop points, rain comes into play, we have a couple of games at UV, you know, more than likely to get played. So it's still always an option that you can win, but more than likely, we're looking to strike the balance with the winning and development for the rest of the season.
All the best to you for the rest of the season and to the team.
All right, thanks very much.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to DA Computer Services and to the Caribbean Media Corporation. Join us again soon for another episode of Anything Cricket. Let's talk.